Another one that came up recently was Warren Gatland. He talked about the different cultures national cultures in the likes of Wales and England and Ireland, for example, particularly the Lions. How, for example, the Welsh are very much doers.
Yeah.
The English have a tremendous pride because of their history. And Irish are more thinkers, partly because there's more higher percentage coming from, for example, private schooling, and so they want to understand the why, and then they'll do it. How have you found that yourself, having been either a coach or a player in those?
Yeah, well, I've been in England, Ireland, and Wales. Played in Sale Sharks in Manchester. I would agree. I think the English would back themselves.
Yeah.
You know, they would have a lot of belief, sometimes warranted, sometimes not.
Yeah.
As rugby players, and you know they will train very hard. But the big thing is mindset-wise, you don't need to spend your week worrying about giving them confidence. The Welsh, they get confidence from working very hard. They don't really need to understand why. In actual fact, trying to explain why can sometimes be a little bit confusing, or not look confusing. They'd rather be spending time on the pitch or in the gym or in the recovery room than in a meeting room trying to understand the strategy. They just want to be told what to do, black and white, and that gives them real clarity. The Irish, we like to be involved in the strategy. We want to be part of the decision making towards the strategy, and even if we aren't, we want to understand completely why that's a good strategy. So we need to see evidence of has that worked before, or evidence of why it will work. So it's fascinating. So I think we probably spend more time in the analysis room, either working ourselves to try and prepare for that meeting of strategy, or in the strategy room actually we buy into things more if we're part of the process.
It reminds me of the Dutch. The Dutch are very similar in work life. They need to be part of the process. Paul O'Connell talked about this before, how in the French market, how so much money is spent paying for these elite players that they hardly have any money for the laptops, for the analysis, for example.
No, because it's like, if you want to go to a sponsor, then we had this issue. So I would have we had a pretty average gym.
Yeah.
And I knew it wasn't fit for purpose, really. It was fine for Pro D2, but in the top 14 it wasn't good enough. But when I spoke to the board around that, you know, they said to me, can you imagine going to a sponsor and asking them for 150,000 for a gym when you could say to him, here's 150,000 for this guy. He's 6'6", he's 20 stone. And then when he goes to a match with his friends, he can say, see that guy on the pitch? I brought him here, rather than there's a great squat cage back in the club. So it's that, and then because that's the mentality, and because there's a culture of players. So there's two reasons for that. One is the sexiness of where you put your money, and two, a lot of coaches will blame the players. So all the board ever hear is, we don't have good enough players. We're not big enough. We're not fast enough, etc. So the solution to that is give me better players, or give me different players. So historically, they don't actually look back at actually how they prepare them. What the infrastructure is like.
It's more short-term solutions rather than long-term thinking.
And that's why, to be honest, that's why a lot of island players do very well in France, because they have that magic where the game might be on a knife edge or a very level, and then somebody, a Fijian or a Tongan, bring this brilliant piece of play which opens the game up. But that gets you out of jail as a coach, rather than actually building a strategy that over 80 minutes will unlock the opposition.
You fit the nail at one player at the peak of his prime, probably was the best attacking player in the world ever, Rupini Tautani-Buka. And he just went from ripping shreds out of the best teams in the world and going over to France, and within, I think, about 2 or 3 years, the guy was like 3 stone overweight.
But yet he still I played against him with Leinster when he was 3 stone overweight, and he still went 60 metres at one stage. And that's why they forgave him. He came back late from holidays all the time. He couldn't be contacted. He went missing a few times. And any other club in the world, or most other country in the world, he'd be sacked. But then the problem for that is if you allow that and tolerate that with him, other players in the group who don't have the same amount of talent, they won't go off missing on holidays, but they will do less and less for you, because they see, I suppose, special treatment, lack of professionalism being tolerated. So the overall standard of everyone drops. So it's a very dangerous road to go down of tolerating poor standards from someone who has moments of brilliance. It's a difficult one to manage.